Ram Ram Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. And all the glories to the assembled devotees. This is Manjari Leela Devidasi from Naperville. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Manjari Leela Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your recitation. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, is there anybody who
Hare
would like
Krishna,
to
Vinita
introduce?
Gandharvika Mataji.
Hare Krishna. This is Balavan Nitai Das. All
Krishna.
glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Maharaj and Nityananda. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Bhalavan Nitai Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji, for joining and giving your recitation. Welcome to the call. Hari Bol.
Hi, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Mataji and all the devotees. Your Guru Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajis. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Rani. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Krishna Kumari Mataji, for joining and giving your recitation. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna Mataji and all the devotees. I'm Sudhakar joining from Saudi Arabia for this session.
Hare Krishna Sudhakar Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for joining and giving your recitation, and all glories to your services. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna Induleka Karuna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining and all sweet services for the group. Welcome to the call. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for your wonderful services. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. This is Shama Kori Devidasi from Charlotte. And thank you so much, Mataji, for your wonderful services.
Hare Krishna Shama Gauri Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining and giving your recitation. Thank you for your services, Mataji, for bringing very nice speakers for Srimad Bhagavatam classes. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna everyone, welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto, 7th chapter, 9 and 10 verse, both verses we have today. Before I hand over the call to Maharaj, I would request Sudhakar Prabhuji to give a brief introduction of His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Mataji and devotees. His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaji is a disciple of ISKCON founder Sri A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Maharaj. Maharaji is also initiating spiritual master in ISKCON movement. Maharaji was born in the New Jersey in 1947. Maharaji has come into contact with ISKCON in Denver, Colorado at the age of 24. In 1973, Maharaj began practicing Krishna consciousness in New York City, and shortly after that, he has been serving in the New Vrindavan Farm community in West Virginia. In the same year, Maharaji received his initiation from His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Maharaj. At the same time, when he was serving in the New Vrindavan, His Holiness Radhana Swamiji Maharaj was also serving the same there, and both of them have become good friends and inmates. In 1986, Maharaji accepted his sannyas order and began preaching in Columbus, Ohio. In the early 1990s, Maharaji has been involved in ISKCON prison missionary in America. He began meeting the inmates of the prison in a very compassionate manner, meeting them and writing the letters to the inmates and giving them the teachings of the divine knowledge and distributing the Prabhupada's books to the inmates. Maharaji has transformed many lives of the inmates in the prison. Maharaji has also touched the life of the people who are in very difficult situations in the prisons and transformed their lives to the very beautiful Vaishnavas. Maharaji has written 2 books on that subject. Maharaji is also now the leader of ISKCON prison ministry and has worked on a document for the spiritual progression of the worldwide inmate community. His dedication to the welfare, growth, and the sustainable rehabilitation of this prison is culminated in the book called Holy Jail. Maharaji, in over 30 years of his service, has offered services to the inmates of the life and change the lives of the inmates of the prisons in the Krishna consciousness, of course, with the help of the support of the devotees. Maharaj is currently residing in Chicago since 1995, and present Maharaj preaches and gives spiritual guidance to the many devotees all over the world, including America, India, Western Europe, Croatia, Italy, and UK. Thank you, Maharaj, and back to you.
Hare Krishna Sudhakar Prabhu, thank you so much for that introduction. We are still waiting for Maharaj to join the call. Until then, I will continue my chanting. Oh, Maharaj is there. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yeah, Maharaj did not on his
Yeah,
feet.
Martin.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you, Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining this morning and enlightening us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you, Maharaj. We missed you yesterday, but thank you so much for coming today. We are so happy to see you, Maharaj, and hear from you. Over to you, Maharaj.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tam Uttitam Vikshankula Chalam Puna Samudyata Nirmatitum Surasuraha Tadhara Prastena Salakshayojana Prastarina Deepa Iva Paromahan. Translation. So we're in the middle of the churning of the milk ocean. This is a very long pastime. It takes up at least 10 chapters of the 8th canto. So when the demigods and demons saw that Mount Mandara had been lifted, they were enlivened and encouraged it to begin churning again. The mountain rested on the back of the great tortoise, which extended for 800,000 miles like a large island. That tortoise, of course, is an incarnation of Krishna. Surasurendra Bhujavir Vepitum Paribramantam Girim Anga Pristataha Vibrata Anbhavartanam Arakat Chapo Menenga Kanduyanam Aprameyaha. O king, when the demigods and demons, by the strength of their arms, rotated Mandara mountain on the bank of the extraordinary tortoise, the tortoise accepted the rolling of the mountain as a means of scratching his body, and thus he felt a pleasing sensation. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is always unlimited. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his body as a tortoise, held on his back the largest mountain, Mandara Parvata, he did not feel any inconvenience. On the contrary, he apparently felt some itching, and thus the rotation of the mountain was certainly very pleasing. Text 11. Tata surana visham asurena rupena tasan balavira irayan udipayan deva ganasya vishnur davena nagendra abodha rupaha. Thereafter, Lord Vishnu entered the demons as the quality of passion, the demigods as the quality of goodness, and Vasuki as the quality of ignorance to encourage them and increase their various types of strength and energy. Purport. Everyone in this material world is under the different modes of material nature. There were 3 different parties in the churning of Mount Mandara. the demigods who are in the mode of goodness, the demons in the mode of passion, and the snake Vasuki was in the mode of ignorance. Since they were all becoming tired, Vasuki was so much so that he was almost going to die. Lord Vishnu, to encourage them to continue the work of churning the ocean, entered into them according to their respective modes of nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. Humagyan timidandasya ganajana salakaya. Yaksun mulitam yena. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale. Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve. Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavari. Astyatya Desatarine Vanchakalpatarubhischa. Vipa Sindhu. Payevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaur Bhaktarindam. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here is a wonderful pastime. This pastime is one of the supreme pastimes within the Bhagavatam. Sometimes the Bhagavatam is described as the churning of the milk ocean, another name for the Bhagavatam, because of this pastime where the demons on one side and the demigods on the other side are churning the ocean of milk, trying to get the nectar. The churning rod is Mount Mandara. The churning apparatus is Vasuki, the snake. The demigods held the snake's tail, and the demons held the snake's head. And the snake was shooting fire, and the demons were getting burnt, as we heard from previous verses. And Vasuki's now getting tired, and he's a snake, and therefore he has the quality of the mode of ignorance. The demigods have the quality of the mode of goodness. The demons have the quality of the mode of passion. And according to those qualities, people have certain characteristics and activities based on those qualities, which connect them to a particular mode, which is when we say mode means rope, guna, or tied up. So one becomes tied up by a different mode of material nature. So as devotees, we also have some connection with the three modes until we become transcendental to the three modes. In other words, we situated on the pure spiritual platform, which is Sudasattva, pure goodness. Until then, we are still sometimes affected by the modes of material nature. And mode means rope, guna, tied up. So there's a restriction comes to the modes, and there's also a particular pushing come by the particular mode. So the demigods are in the mode of goodness, so they have qualities of that. The demons in the mode of passion, they also have qualities similar. And the yakshas and rakshasas, they're also mentioned in a different place, or in the mode of ignorance, and Vasuki also. So these three modes make up the whole material energy. And therefore, people in this material world are affected by one or more of these modes, or a combination of these modes, because the modes are shifting sometimes. You'll see that if you're very observant, you can see how people act and react sometimes in a very similar way during a particular day, because a certain mode is prominent. Sometimes people are more relaxed and lazy. Other times they're more passionate and active. But the modes are always there, forcing people to act. So no one is free. There's a nice caricature where you see a puppeteer. He's arranging for the puppets, and he's pulling the strings. and the people are attached to the strings, and each of this, he has 3 puppets, each for the different modes of material energy, and people are bouncing according to the pulling of the puppeteer, which is ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who places everything irrespective to the modes, and it's according to your desire, which leads to an activity. Based on that desire, we get a particular result. And we think we are free. We think we are choosing to act accordingly. But we are forced to act by the modes of material nature. Not that we are choosing. We're thinking we are choosing, but actually we're not. Because if you don't act, that's another feature of the mode of ignorance, such as excessive laziness and sleep. That's a quality of the mode of ignorance. So even inactivity is governed by one of the modes, which is the lowest of all modes. Or at least no one can be inactive anyway, because the mind is always working. Therefore, no one can escape the modes of material nature unless they engage in pure devotional service. And then abhyabhyasita sunya jnana karmana navritam. They transcend the modes of material nature and come to the Brahman platform. Brahma bhuta prasannatma nasochatina kankshati. So the process of bhakti is to get free from the influence of the modes of material nature and come to the transcendental platform. As long as we are still desiring activities in the material world, we are still controlled by a particular mode or a combination of the modes. And just like there are 3 colors, 3 primary colors, there is red, there is blue, and there is yellow. So these 3 colors are the primary colors, and if you mix them, you can get so many colors from there. You get hundreds and hundreds of different shades and colors, mixing these 3 colors in different ways. And so the modes are like that, 3 modes. If you mix them, 3 times 3 is 9. Then you mix it again, 9 times 9 is 81. And you get unlimited forms of material bodies. 8,400,000 species of life are just a mixture of the different modes to formulate the different bodies of the living entities. Just like there's 400,000 forms of human life. How many have we seen? There's 3 million forms of beasts. How many have we seen? There's 1,100,000 forms of birds. How many have we seen? Because what we see is very limited. Because this is only one planet and one universe. So this 8,400,000 species comprises the whole of the universes put together. And that's the total number. It doesn't say 8,400,001. It says it's very exact. So the scriptures give the exact understanding of how many forms of material bodies that the living entity can enter into. And it says that the living entity, when he first comes to the material world due to his desire to be independent of God, he falls into the category of Lord Brahma. He becomes Lord Brahma. Then after being Brahma from one birth, he falls all the way down to become aquatic in an ocean or some type of fish. Fish have the least consciousness of all of the different forms of life. They say even insects or trees, plants, and creepers have more awareness than fish. Fish are considered to be the lowest. Some people might debate that, but that's what the Shastras say anyway. And so, different species of life. And so when one gets to the human form of life, it's considered a great benediction. We take it for granted. Oh, there's so many humans and I'm a human like that. But we don't understand our history. How many species of life we've been in before we actually got to the human form of life. And before then, one cannot come to the platform of spiritual elevation. One cannot be elevated to the spiritual platform. Why? Because there's no higher consciousness. Only when he gets to the human form of life, there's higher consciousness, then one can discriminate and choose. And then one can choose to continue to remain in the material world, trying fruitlessly to try to enjoy this material world and struggling hard, ultimately, which leads in defeat. And again, one is forced to take another birth accordingly. Or one can choose the path of bhakti, the path out of the material world to the level of pure consciousness or Krishna consciousness. Sometimes we use the word clear consciousness, which indicates also Krishna consciousness. So, yeah, and so to have a human form of life is very rare. If you were to make a comparison, you would see most of the living entities in the material worlds fall into the other 8 million species. These 400,000 are the smallest number, but out of the 400,000, how many of them are actually civilized? Very few. And how many of them who are civilized actually take to devotional service? Even fewer. And how many out of them who take the devotional service actually reach the goal of devotional service? Extremely rare. Extremely rare. But it's possible if we stay fixed in devotional service and follow the process as given by the spiritual master and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has given us the Yuga Dharma. Harinam, Harinam, Harinam eva kevalam, kalon nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatiranyata. That the means for self-realization in this age is to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and to engage in practical devotional service under the guidance of the spiritual master. But the essence is to glorify the Lord by chanting his holy names. And so, how many living entities are actually doing that? Very few. So ones who are doing it are considered to be fortunate. And one who understands the goal is even more rare and therefore more fortunate. And one who can achieve the goal, Prema Pumartha Mahan, love of God, is so rare that it is in percentage to the rest, it cannot be measured. It's 0.000000001%, less than 1% of all the living entities. Not only less, but way less than 1%. So, therefore, we shouldn't waste this human form of life doing the same thing we've been doing for so many lives. What does that mean? Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending in different bodies, even different species of life, suffering and enjoying the threefold miseries, finally coming to the human form of life where there's a way out of this cycle of birth and death, and that is the process of bhakti given by the acharyas, by Krishna. And that's the process of mercy to get out of this cycle of birth and death. So those who have that opportunity and don't take advantage is like a man who has so much money, but he doesn't spend it. Or like a man who's so very wealthy, he can't find the money. He's got it hidden somewhere in his house and he forgot where he put it. He can say, I'm rich, but in one sense he's not, because what will make up his wealth is not available to him. So that's an analogy. We have this human form of life which is rare. We have the association of the spiritual master and of devotees. We have the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and all the religious scripture that define the process of pure devotional service. If we don't take advantage of it, then We are like a rich man who can't find his money. It's really quite sad. It's pathetic. So therefore, one should not waste time still trying to enjoy this material energy in all of its features. We've tried that for so many births, and here we are, and now we're still trying to somehow or other find happiness. But we can find happiness only on the spiritual platform, not on the material platform. Because material happiness is not happiness, it's simply a relief from suffering. And you cannot call a relief from suffering happiness. Just like if you got some disease and you cure yourself of the disease, you're back to normal condition again. So you might feel some relief from being no longer afflicted by the disease. But is that happiness? Not really. Happiness is on another level. So any relief from the suffering is a material energy is, in the material sense, is defined as happiness, but from the perspective of reality, according to Shastra, it's simply a relief from the sufferings that one's undergoing in material energy. So here, if we take up devotional service and we come to the mode of goodness by practicing the qualities of the mode of goodness in relationship to our service to the Supreme Lord, then we can gain the full mercy of the Lord and traverse beyond the mode of goodness into the mode of pure goodness, which is Sudasattva, which is the platform of pure devotional service. So we are lucky, you might say, or fortunate, supremely blessed to have this opportunity of pure devotional service. And if we waste it and don't take advantage of it, there is no greater loss. Sometimes they say a person who is rich and he loses all his money, he suffers. And a person who is poor, who has never been rich, he may be suffering, but he doesn't suffer as much because he never experienced the success of having a lot of wealth. But the one who had it and lost it suffers more. So we have this opportunity. Therefore, the time factor is working against us in one sense. It's taking away every moment of our life, every second. We're becoming less and less a resident of this particular body and this particular situation we're in. And gradually, the hourglass will run out. The sand will hit the bottom. And so don't waste time. Become Krishna conscious. And it's easy to become Krishna conscious. Just take up the chanting of this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra very seriously and very regularly with determination. Eat only food offered to the Lord in devotion, Krishna Prasad. Read Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, understand your position in this material world and your identity as a pure spiritual being. And associate with devotees. You do these things, and then it's easy, it's natural, and it brings the greatest amount of success. That means Taktva Deham Purna Janmani Naiti Mameti Surjana. We qualify ourselves to leave this material world and go back to the spiritual world. So there'll be no more death, no more birth, and this will be our last death. The last time we have to undergo leaving any body. Can you imagine doing it every lifetime? You're born, dying, getting old, born, dying, getting old, born, dying, life after life after life. And there's no out of the cycle except pure devotional service, which is available by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, who's invested that power within the hearts of his pure devotees, who are traveling all around giving that mercy to others. Take advantage of it. That's why they're here. And make your life successful. and go back home, back to Godhead, or at least qualify yourself to leave this material world. Okay, we can stop here.
Hare Krishna devotees, if you have any questions or realizations, please you can go ahead and raise your hands. Yes, Mataji, Sri Devi, this is Mataji, yes.
Any
Thank
questions?
Yes, please.
Nice and loud.
Dear Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada. Thank you for today's class. My question is, as I am growing old in the body, I become very set in my ways. If you ask me to chant more, I'm lazy. Or you want me to do something with more attention, I don't want to do it. So as the body is aging, we find it more and more difficult to improve our spiritual life. So how we can actually accelerate when we are hampered by the body?
Two categories of improvement, or you might say one category of improvement, and then there's a subcategory. To take on more is not necessarily improvement. To put quality into what we're doing now is really improvement. So chant with freedom from offenses. Read and go deeper into the philosophy and try to understand. And become more reflective, introspective, and very philosophical when it comes to understanding this knowledge. So the quality of, or the category of quality is also improvement. Do the same thing you're doing, but improve the quality. Especially chanting, especially reading, especially in relationships to others. So that's a type of advancement that comes by putting quality, because we offer whatever we're doing, we offer to Krishna. We want to offer in the best possible way, and not just offer something, but do it in the nicest way. So you always can think of how to do what you're doing with more quality, with more attention, or with more awareness, more knowledge.
Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj. My obeisances.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Pavani Mataji, yes, you can go ahead with your question.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and your lotus feet. Maharaj, sometimes we hear classes which are very heavy on these topics like beyond birth and death. And sometimes we get too much overwhelmed with that consciousness. So how do we stay conscious but not get overwhelmed by the knowledge?
Why get overwhelmed? You can choose to get overwhelmed or not get overwhelmed. When you understand this knowledge is applying your intelligence to the activities and working and performing the activities with attention and devotion. It's not how much service you do, it's what is the bhakti you put into that service, and bhakti is the quality also. So getting overwhelmed means taking on, maybe trying to just to get through your services so you can do something else, or taking on too much service where you have to do it in a hurried way.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, don't Yeah, just do everything nicely. And just like they said, you've heard of the great Saint Mother Teresa? People have heard of her, right?
Yes, Maharaj.
So they asked her, how is it you're helping so many people? How do you do it? She said, one at a time. Quality makes Krishna consciousness really wonderful. If you just do things to get it done so you can do something else, you're really just skimming the surface. You're not really going into the essence of bhakti. You see, where did bhakti begin? At least on this planet. It began, you might say, in the land of India, where Krishna appeared in so many incarnations. Now it's gone to the West. You see the modes of nature, how they work in the different countries. People, when I used to go to India back in the 1980s and in the early 90s, life was very slow. And that's the way it was for centuries. Now, Western life or Western technological life is quite the opposite. It energizes anything with the mode of passion. Do more, do more, do more. Get more money, go more places, get more material things, more, more, more. It's a frenzy. People are worked up to a frenzy, trying to chase after all of these toys that they dangle in front of your eyes, and they use all kinds of psychological mesmerization to get you to engage in all of these activities. Advertising is one of the greatest forms of violence. You might think advertising is what it is, but it's violence, actually. You have to convince people to buy things they don't need. That's violence. And they're good at it. So slow down, to put it very simply, and focus.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but now India is being pushed in the same way the West has been going. And people of India are also now running after all of the trinkets. But Prabhupada said one thing, and you have to understand that India's material advancement, he said, it's artificial. What did he mean by that? He said the culture is not geared. The culture is geared to spirituality, to morality, family values, aesthetics. They're not geared to, great amounts of material success or achievement. People are simple, but they're being forced into another way by the intervention of the Western culture, which is really chasing after material desires and financial gain. That's all. And that's been in the Western countries for the last 300 and some years. Slow down. Take time to be with people and spend time more with people instead of with things. People now don't have time for people because they got too many things they have to take care of. Things. As one great devotee says, we love things and use people rather than love people and use things. Things. Our house is full of all kinds of things we don't even need. You open up the closets and things just fall out sometimes. You don't even need them, but you just store them in there anyway. The things, the Western culture is more is better. But the spiritual life is, Krishna consciousness is the quality of life. And Krishna consciousness requires attention, sensitivity, intelligence. We also say simple living, high thinking, right? But we use the contrary, which we say high living and no thinking. Too busy living to sit down and think. We sit down to read a book because we're so tired from running around, we fall asleep.
Okay. Hemangini Mataji, yes, you can.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, Maharaj, very, very beautiful lecture. I just have a question. I hope I can frame it properly. About the three modes, I've always wondered, like you said, it's like the puppet thing, like the modes come through morning, afternoon, and evening. Morning is
Who's monitoring this program?
A
Where's the
little louder,
monitor?
Himangi. A little louder.
Benita, do something.
Okay, I'll go louder. Sorry, Maharaj. Sorry, Maharaj. I've had a question about the modes. I've always wondered about the three modes. What am I understanding is that in the morning there is a mode of goodness, then the afternoon the mode of passion, and then at night time is the mode of ignorance. And I notice this, especially during my chanting. If I don't chant in the morning and I'm trying to do it towards the afternoon and evening, it becomes a chore. It's very hard. So my question is that if the modes are that powerful, as a person, do I have the capacity to overcome them voluntarily by trying, or versus getting bogged down by them? But if I can, then how would I do it to stay in Sattva Guna all through the day?
It's not so clear that the modes are aligned with the different parts of the day. The tendency is there, but even the modes can be mixed at any time. But the mode of goodness is more prominent in the early hours from 2 o'clock to, we say, 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock to 6, mode of passion, 6 to 2 in the morning, mode of ignorance. But that's just some indication of the atmosphere. It also depends on the atmosphere you're in, what is around you, and how that affects also the modes of material nature. So again, if you want to be more effective in your spiritual life, slow down. Slow down, take time, hear and chant nicely. There's a nice verse that indicates one should chant with, what is it? Turn to that verse. It's in the Nectar of Instructions, verse number 7. Benita, you're still with us?
Yes, Maharaj will do it now. Yes, Maharaj.
Okay. Nectar of Instructions, verse number 7. Who's doing the hosting now?
Sudhakar Prabhu is doing the moderation. If you can see him on the...
Oh, Sudhakar, okay.
Yes. But I will share the verse now, Maharaj.
Yeah.
Yes, verse
Nectar of Instructions, verse number 7. I think this relates to the previous question. Yeah. So, yeah, just read that verse, someone.
The holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya, ignorance, cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root.
So carefully chanting. Note that part. And follow that. Carefully chanting. Hear nicely. Chant clearly. Focus on the sound vibration. Don't go too slow, but don't go fast either. Careful. Hear every syllable of the sound vibration. The mind jumps in. Just bring the sound vibration stronger into the consciousness where it overshadows the thoughts of the mind. Practice. Carefully chanting. As it says, everything about Krishna is transcendently sweet. But to taste it, you have to apply yourself in a very careful way. And if you chant early, you have the advantage of the atmosphere. You chant later, you're more affected by the activities of the day. So we recommend that sadhana be done early, not later, unless it's impossible due to a particular schedule that you have. But chant early. Try to finish all your rounds before breakfast.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Sri
Maharaj.
Devi Das Mataji has a question. Mataji, you have raised your hand. You have a question?
Yes, I have a question, but I forgot. Let me wait to circle back.
Yeah. Any more questions? Let me check a chat.
Sinduroi.
Yes, Sindhurao Mataji. He has a question.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sudhakar Prabhu. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Very, very beautiful class. Every time we attend your class, it's very inspiring. It's very motivating. And especially after listening to your class, chanting is actually better. So I have a question about chanting. You said we have to hear the mantra. We have to listen to that. Sometimes what happens is the time when we start recording, it goes beyond 8 minutes or 9 minutes. Is that okay?
The more you're hearing, the more you'll find yourself. The rounds go, what we say, nicer and more quicker. Concentration causes things to go faster. So a shoot for concentration and not for trying to play beat the clock japa. Just try to hear nicely. As you pick up the sound, the mind becomes connected, and when the mind's connected, then it's imperceptible, but actually you're going faster in the chanting through the process of concentration. When you're not concentrating, when the mind is going, when you're in and out of the sound vibration, you may think you're going fast, but you're not.
I see.
And
Thank
so
you,
we have to try to adopt this mood of hearing nicely. That's all. Slow down, speed up, whatever it takes to hear nicely.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much. And continue to give your association, Maharaj. It is very valuable for, conditioned souls like us. Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Don't have any questions, devotees?
Sri Devi Mataji, would you like
Yes,
to
I
ask now?
remembered. Guru Maharaj, you said take time, slow down, take time to be with people, spend time with people rather than things. But we may want to be with people, but people have no time for us because they're rushing around doing so many things.
So what do you want me to say?
Where can we find those people who will have time for us?
Well, you have your friends, right?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, in the UK and America.
Is that a hint?
No, Guru Maharaj. I dare not do anything of the sort.
You got Vrinda there. She's on the other side. She's in the same place you are.
Yeah, Mataji, you have
Finally, I get to see Vrinda. Haribol.
Mataji, you have friends everywhere in the whole world.
Thank you, Shavagori. I just have to find them here. That's all. By your mercy.
Yeah. So,
If you
Dakar
do
Prabhu,
it-
we have one question in the chat box. Would you like to read that for Maharaj?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the question, just one second. How to realize that enduring to enjoy materially is fruitless, though such knowledge is heard many times?
Just look at people in general. They're suffering like crazy. You can't see the suffering of people around you. You should. You can see. I can see it all the time. People look really morose, suffering. I think the only happiness they get is to walk their dog in the morning. That's about it. And the dog's getting more happiness than they are, of course. It's a really pathetic time in life, in our society, in the world. The world is really pushing people in different ways. The fallout is so bad on every level. So yeah, and Krishna tells us Dukkhalayam Sasratam that this material world is temporary and it's miserable. You might say, well, it's good it's temporary because the misery is temporary. But the misery is not temporary as long as you're in the material world. It continues. Goes from one type of misery to another. Unfulfilled desires, that's suffering. Losses of people that are close to you, that's another kind of suffering. Making plans to enjoy, and then you find rather than enjoyment, you get, some difficulties, some suffering, some block in your enjoyment. It's all the time. But people, just like when people they want to get out of some suffering, they take drugs, right? So people drug themselves up with activities just to get away from the suffering that they're going. Or sometimes they just take to sleep to get out of the suffering. The hospitals are overflowing with patients. They can't even keep the hospitals going because the patients are coming in more faster than they can take care of. There's so much suffering out there. And Kali Yuga is the acceleration of these types of suffering. But we don't have to be part of that. We have Lord Chaitanya's mercy, we have the holy name, we have the association of devotees, we have the process of bhakti, we have Krishna Prasadam, we have so many things that are enjoyable. Automatic. But if we try to copy materialists and we think, oh, they look like they're happy. But they have to pretend that they're happy sometimes in order to continue. Because if they realize they're miserable, a lot of times they become so despondent, they become what we say neurotic, suicidal, or even violent. Don't read the newspapers because you'll just go nuts hearing all of the problems in the world. Somebody has some money or some success on some level, they think I'm happy. But how long will it last? A few moments, few days, it's gone. Take the Krishna consciousness. Chant. Go to kirtans. Don't stay home. Go to the temples. Go to the programs. We have programs all around the world. Festivals. Krishna conscious restaurants. So many activities within the society of Vaishnavas that devotees can use their time for. But the most happiness they get is when they're chanting or when they're associating with other devotees and enjoying each other's association by serving Krishna. And transcendental anxiety is another form of happiness. Well, we want to do better in our service to Krishna, so we get a little overwhelmed with some anxiety. But that Prabhupada said, that anxiety will take you back to Godhead.
Maharaj, there is another question. Sorry.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, when you are talking about slowing down, then the way we should act is like we should not give chance to Maya to enter into our lives, right? So, because if you are not busy or if you are not occupied with Krishna conscious activities, then definitely Maya will take over and will do other things which are not related to Krishna consciousness. So, can you please elaborate on this, Maharaj?
Yeah, don't slow down in Krishna consciousness. Slow down in the activities you perform. You can always remember Krishna anytime, any place. That's Krishna consciousness. Sometimes we just take on too much service, and then we find ourselves overwhelmed trying to do everything. It says that one should, not too much, not too little. In other words, fill your time up nicely. You have to get into a pattern. Don't let the outside world create your own pattern. Create your pattern. You create the pattern. How best you can, what time you get up in the morning, how much time you give to chanting and hearing, reading, serving, worshiping, time for breakfast, time to take care of the household, do everything according to a schedule. Srila Prabhupada was traveling around the world, but he was highly organized. He had the same schedule every day. Can you imagine?
Yes, Maharaj.
He took his massage every day at the same time. He took his prasadam every day at the same time. And if he traveled and he had to change time zones, wherever he landed, he'd pick up that time and begin his schedule according to where he landed. If you want to be efficient, be regulated. You want to be efficient, and if you want to be, what we say, connected to your own self, develop regulation. Or else the mind can drag you anytime, anywhere, to any place if you're not regulated. It just tells you you sees a gap in your schedule, and then it'll try to fill it in with some maya.
But sometimes mind says, relax. So when we are relaxing or when we want to relax, that is also a danger for Maya, right, Maharaj?
Well, I don't know what you mean by relax.
I mean, sometimes, yeah, as you said, like when we are overwhelmed with so many activities or services,
You
at that
slow
time,
down doesn't mean you stop.
yeah. Mm.
Not a matter of stopping. It's a matter of organizing. That's all.
Okay. Yes, Maharaj, understood. Thank you so much.
Yeah, remember, you're not the doer.
Yes, Maharaj, yeah. Thank you.
Maharaj, there is another question
Nityananda, how's
in the
it
chat
going?
box.
Nityananda.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. No problem.
Are you feeling happy in your Krishna consciousness?
Very much happy, Maharaj.
Okay, good.
So daily I keep chanting my rounds properly. And also I get some service to do book distribution. So it's very nice, Maharaj. It's all because of mercy.
Good. Stay within the protection of Krishna's mercy, and the material energy won't affect you. Even if it does try to get in, it won't get in very far because you stay connected with Krishna through devotional service.
Sure, Maharaj.
When I joined the Krishna conscious movement, one thing we learned, not one moment in not doing something for Krishna. Not one moment. If you couldn't find anything to do, chant.
Thank you, Maharaj.
The mind is active 24/7. It doesn't stop. Give it the right activity, though.
Sometimes during work also, that's why I keep chanting in my mind only, Maharaj.
What was that?
During work, sometimes, I keep chanting in my mind because I can't chant louder because I don't have beats there.
Yeah, that's chanting in the mind is also connecting.
Yes, Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj. We have one more question in the chat box. Would you like to take that, Maharaj?
Haven't left yet.
Yes. Sudhakar
As long
Prabhu,
as
would
I'm
you like to
here,
read?
you don't have to ask. You just keep firing the questions.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah. Yes, Maharaj. Sudhakar Prabhu, please go ahead with that question
Yes,
in the
Maharaj.
chat box.
Yeah, there is a question from Manohar Krishnadas Prabhuji. His question is, this entire creation consists of two distinct categories, Purusha and Prakriti, wherein Krishna is the only Purusha and the rest all Prakriti. Then in which category does our beloved Srimati Radharani comes under? This is the question.
She's Prakriti, but she's the internal pleasure potency of Krishna. She's directly connected with giving pleasure to Krishna. But she's not material. She's pure spirit. She's the internal energy of Krishna, Maladini Shakti. Krishna is the only Purusha. Everything is meant to give pleasure to Krishna. We are meant to give pleasure to Krishna. We don't give pleasure to Krishna, then we'll try to give pleasure to something material. Radharani, can be categorized as Prakriti because she's enjoyed by Krishna. We're all meant to be enjoyed by Krishna. But those who are enjoyed also enjoy also. The Prakriti also enjoys just as much as the Purusha, almost as much. When you try to give Krishna pleasure, you also enjoy. Okay, we can stop here. There doesn't seem to be any more questions. Thank you very much for all of your attendance. This is the next nice section of the Bhagavatam. Those of you who are in that 8th canto, it's really deep and philosophical, and there's a lot of Leela there too. Bhagavatam, you can't exhaust it. The knowledge is unlimited.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you so much for the beautiful class, Maharaj. Very grateful to you, Maharaj, for your association. We would like to offer our obeisances to you. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhu bhyeva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Koti Vaishnava ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj ki
Jai. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Gauranga,
Radhe Radhe.
Nityananda.
Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, dear devotees. We'll end the call.